we're members of the Justice League, and we called this press conference today to basically we gave the city of Hoover a moratorium. We basically told them an ultimatum. We asked them to charge this officer, the officer involved in the shooting death of EJ Bradford on November 22nd at 9:52. It's been almost 2 weeks since that incident has happened, and we still don't know who the officer is that's involved. We don't know anything about that officer, anything at all, because no tape has been released, and this officer's name has not been released. We asked them to charge this officer. If not, we would go ahead and release the information, release who the officer is, and let everybody know what's going on, because we feel this officer is a hindrance to the public. This officer is a killer. He's a murderer. When you look at the autopsy report that the family had done privately on yesterday, we saw that EJ was actually shot 3 times. Once in the back of the head, once in the back of the neck, and once in the lower back. That is not right, and we are looking for justice. So with that, we wanted to kind of let you all know that seeing as we could not get cooperation from law enforcement or media, and with a sense of responsibility to not, seeing as we could not get cooperation from law enforcement nor media, and with a sense of responsibility to not intentionally or unintentionally slander anyone, we're asking members of the public, before we put out the officer's name, anybody that's out there, part of the public that was actually here at the Riverchase Galleria when this happened, we want you all to step forward. We want you all to say, yes, this was the officer that was involved in this incident. Yes, this is the officer that was there that night. Yes, this is the officer that actually shot and killed EJ. We are more than confident in the information that we have. The name that we're getting ready to release before you all.
Is this better, you guys?
We have done our research. We are confident that this is the officer. What I will release to you all today is a photo of the officer and his name. We have the address of this officer. We have his parents' address in Montgomery. We know where he could be hiding. We already know all of that. So, so I'm gonna let Alvin actually speak to that.
In an effort to be sure that we do not slander anyone, in an effort to make sure that we are not held liable or doxing laws or whatnot, what we're basically saying is that we're confident that this information is correct. However, we are asking the public to call the DA's office. We are asking the public to call the office of Attorney Rodney Barganier and let them know what you saw, and if you can confirm what we believe, that this is the shooter. So we are not definitively saying that we're held responsible for this. You have to understand that attorneys have given us advice and told us there are things that we can say, can't say, and how we should say it, okay?
And we might add as well that we've been had this name all the time. We waited on Mr. Murphy, the counselor, to say that they were gonna release the video. So since they didn't release the video, we see no problem with releasing the name that we're about to release. So if y'all wanna do it all or no, we're gonna do it partial and partial. And so that's what Mr. Carlos is finna do now, because y'all didn't do what you said you're gonna do. So again, the onus is on Hoover, because we're gonna win the battle of Bull Hoover.
And so with that, we're going to proceed with what we perceive and what we know with the certainty that we have who is the officer here in this case. And also let you all know too, this morning we called the Hoover Police asking about this actual officer in question. And when we were asking about this actual officer, the department themselves were kind of getting a little defensive about it. You know, we just simply asked, what shift did this particular officer work? And their response was, what do you want to know that for? When we called 2 weeks ago asking about the shift of one of their officers, Hoover did not have a problem letting us know what shift that particular officer worked. When we called for this particular officer in question, They asked us, what do we want to know that information for? And went further to say, let me get your name and we'll have him to give you a call. When I went further to try to push them, say, I don't want his name, I just want to know what shift he works. I want to be able to send him some flowers or whatever I can. They would not give that information up. And the officer in question, his name is David Alexander. That is the person that we believe.
What's his name?
David Alexander.
David Alexander. What's his name?
David Alexander.
What's his name?
David Alexander.
What's his name?
David Alexander.
What's his name?
David Alexander.
Who do we think killed EJ?
David Alexander.
Who do we think killed EJ?
David Alexander. David Alexander is who we believe is the murderer of EJ Emantic Bradford Jr. And with that, we'll entertain your questions. But moving forward, we are prepared to show up at David Alexander's home. We're prepared to show up at David Alexander's parents' home in Montgomery. We're prepared to show up at David Alexander's family's home and his wife's home in Prattville, Alabama, until we get justice and our answers are met and our demands are met. There is a murderer on the loose. We got a suspect who was charged with attempted murder, but we don't have the actual person that should be charged with actual murder.
3 times in the back.
3 times, while he was not even facing the officer.
For those of you on Facebook, you may want to put in your search bar, Hoover Police Department. What was it?
David Alexander.
Hoover Police Department, David Alexander, and a article from the Hoover Sun will pull up, and that's where his picture is. He's standing to the right.
And I'm gonna show you all the picture that we have of David Alexander, who was sworn in August 22nd, 2017.
If I remember correctly, he had been in 2 police departments prior.
David Alexander served with the UAB Police Department for 3 years, and he served with the Montevallo Police Department for 3 years.
And I might share this. The other night, I was on radio with Sheila Smoot, and there's a cop by the name of Matt who works for the Birmingham Police Department, and he's on air disc jockey up there. He called in and said Hoover shouldn't be responsible, and then he confused himself and said they should be, because this Moody, you can talk with Summit Group and find out who he is. I don't know him, but that's his nickname. He called it. He is a cop. He's real. Birmingham Police. He said he know the cop, and this cop has character issues, and that Hoover should not be blamed for his character issues. And he went on to say on live radio that this officer had red flags from 2 other departments. Now that's what it said. I have the video from that call in, requested from Summit Media. They have it. Again, his name is Matt, and we tried to work with him to disclose and help us out. He didn't want to. So again, he can validate it if he wants to, that this is indeed the person. He called in with that information. Go right here, sir.
And one thing that we are requesting, so there is a commission by the name of the Alabama Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission. That commission actually deals with all officers in the state of Alabama. Any officer, their credentials, their entire records are kept with the Alabama Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission. We're asking for the credentials and the records of David Alexander and Chief Nick Durzis and also Captain Greg Richter. We want their entire profiles. We're calling on the Alabama Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission, and it's actually a part of rule chapter in their chapter book number 5, where they have to let us know this information if we request it formally through a letter. So we're going to send a letter out to the Commissioner, Executive Secretary, who is Chief R. Allen Benefield. We're going to send a letter out by tomorrow requesting officially those records and documents so that we will be able to have a better look at who these officers were while they were here in Hoover and prior to them coming to Hoover.
Mr. Chairman, why not let the process go ahead and play out and for Hoover and Elliott and see if charges could be formally brought?
Because Alan, I'm fed up. I'm fed up, Alan, because it's what the whole narrative is. Let it play out. Let it play out. You can't let it play out when you continuously be lied to. All right, as simple as that. They lied. The police lied, and they still lied. and it's simple as that. And so when you have police that are going on almost 2 weeks and we don't have anything, we don't have nothing to work with. So no, we're not waiting on this process to play out. They've had all the time. That, for instance, the police knew who Aaron Brown was the night of the killing. Yet they still coming out asking us to help them find him. When they never did give us a name, but yet they found who he was.
But they do that with every homicide investigation that I've
Carol,
covered.
when you cover stories, you always report. If there's a suspect on the loose, law enforcement have no problem giving that suspect's name and helping us to identify. I can pull up articles now that you've read where,
It's half and half.
regardless, it still should have been, if the media, if they came out asking us to help them locate this suspect, they should have identified him to the general public. Simple as that.
But most homicide investigations that I've covered take longer than 2 weeks. So what do you think? Why do you think this one should be faster?
So most homicide, regardless of the if we know who the suspected person is, that information is always given. When you all the stories you cover, as soon as we know who the suspect is, as soon as you know who so you're telling me you withheld suspect information.
I'd say the police withhold suspect information.
That's not what I'm saying. As soon as you knew who the suspect was, you report that, right?
We can't until formal charges are filed.
Well, let's speak to this notion. First of all, you need to change the grammar as it relates to this whole scenario across this country. Because the word "let it play out," that's a bad word. Play. Kids play. So change the narrative in your word. And us as African Americans being shot down from 10 to 40, 35, that's the jargon that we hear across the country. Let it play out. We played out with Trayvon Martin, no conviction. We played out with Mike Brown, no conviction. All instances, 99 you use the same terminology. Eradicate the word play from this whole scenario, because that's exactly what they toying with us, they playing with us, they trying to let things go cold and to scare people, but we're not going away because we are 100% not a bluff. We're not playing. So don't even continue to put that word that asked us to let it play out from a media standpoint. That's the wrong word and the wrong narrative.
And more importantly, it's time for us to have a conversation, because as Alan was saying about let it play out, that's all that means is let's follow the policies and procedures. Well, that's what needs to change, the policies and procedures. The fact that we can't know any information in this case because of a policy and procedure is an issue. So we have to take a deeper look into the policies and procedures as it pertains to how these investigations are ran.
And the thing we want to ask the federal government, the Justice Department, and we are appealing definitely for them to come in, though we don't have any necessarily faith in it. Why is it every time it's police, blacks kill blacks, but it's never this long scenario, let it play out? You go get them, you pick them up, you arrest them, and the DA has got a true bill for them before the grand jury, before the ink is even dry. Yeah. So why is it that if the police officers across America work for the citizens, why are they more important and hid and sheltered when it's them? We're not hid and sheltered. A guy kills a guy, black, and maybe he was killing to save his life. Y'all put his picture across so his nephews or the one that was killed, his brothers, his sisters, auntie, comfort him. Y'all put him up there so they can comfort him. But when there's a police officer, y'all want to protect him. Now, who is the most important person, the citizen or the police? I think we got it twisted. Because y'all don't even get the discovery why the little boy killed the other little boy, and you plaster him all, and the next thing you know, he's shot up, a family member shot up, a drive-by is done on his house because they made a decision to give y'all his name, his face, his age, and puts him out there. Where is his justice? Where is his justice? He's still a suspect until convicted. A true bill from a jury with a preliminary and a arraignment is not guilt. And y'all take the jury, that these boys that do shoot somebody, if they have any kind of alibi, y'all take the jury pool that come from Jefferson County and all the other counties surround us, and he is convicted before he hits the jury. Now change the whole narrative, how you deal with us. That's what we want. And so that's why we're standing up in the Jefferson County Hoover metropolitan area, because as Dr. King was told by Fred Lee Shuttlesworth, he said if we stop Bull in Birmingham, we change the world. So now we have Bull Hoover And we intend in Bull Hoover, Birmingham, to stop Bull Hoover in this mess so that all police agencies will understand through protest and boycott, you would think and long and hard before you shoot down another black man, especially in the back. That's what this is about.
Alan, we're trying to assist the investigation. We're not trying to hamper it. We're not trying to hurt it. If the media, if the Hoover Police Department, if Aaliyah is not willing to give information so that people can step forward, there may be somebody at home watching this right now, and they scroll to Facebook and they say, yeah, that is the guy that shot EJ. Or somebody calls and says, no, that's not him. Basically, we're trying to get information out so that it's properly vetted, because nobody else will do it. All right? Then second of all, to the point of as far as procedure is concerned, Carol, let me ask you this. How many murder scenes are released after 4 or 5 hours?
Most of them.
Yeah, not in the hood. Not in the hood. I know for a fact in Titusville, they have held a house up for a week while they were getting evidence. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Most of the scenes we go out on, as soon as the coroner's office just remove the body, they take them.
In a house?
Yeah.
Or in a mall?
Well, who asked in the house?
Okay, well, listen, I have no problem saying when I'm wrong. How about in a mall where there are several different department stores where anybody could have run in and out? We did see a gun was thrown out after the mall was open. So I question Hoover and I question the Galleria as to what their true motives are. Is it profits or is it life?
And Mr. Shavers, if I could speak to Mr. Bradford Sr., and I'm through with this. This is my last words. Yesterday, all media that was there, you heard him say, and in this press conference, the police officer that killed my son is watching it. He's probably at home with his children watching this press conference. And that's why Mr. Chavez was at his ends with, should I or should I not release this name? So now that we put this name, we're putting the honest again back on the Hoover Police Department, confirmed for the family, for Mr. EJ Bradford, that he don't have to do another press conference and wondering when he's at Burger King, when he's at McDonald's, where he won't be at this mall out here in Hoover, definitely won't be at Galleria, I hope nobody else. But wherever he's at, that he won't be close to this man, because guess what? If they have a chance meeting by happenstance, he can be fidget thinking that Mr. Bradford knows him and he does something to him. Because he's a killer. He killed his son in cowboy days. You kill your son, you kill the daddy. Okay? So we plead with the Hoover Birmingham Police Department and the mayor and Mr. Murphy that you do your due diligence in fairness. From the press conference on yesterday, when Mr. Bradford looked in that camera and said, I know you're probably watching.
And let me reiterate one last time, this is, you know, there are a lot of curious people out here, but I really don't care about who wants to know what and who's interested in what details. We want you to call the DA. We want you to call the Hoover Police Department. We want you to call Aaliyah. You don't have to call us. We don't have to know these things. But in order for a proper investigation to go down, people need to know faces, people need to know names, people need to know that their next door neighbor may be a menace to society.
And for those that are watching that know information, as Iva said, we're asking you all to call the DA's office, and that telephone number is 205-325-5252. Again, 205-325-5252. Anybody with any information on alleged killer, Mr. David Alexander, we're asking that you please step forward and let the help assist with this investigation, and let the district attorney's office know what you know, and call Aaliyah and let them know what you know as well.
Mr. Chairman, do you have a protest plan tonight? And
We protest it every single day. The funeral is over. There's not a day that we're taking off from protest.
along those lines about, I heard about people inside the mall, even outside the mall, who feel like it's not their fault. We feel like they're victims and sort of being punished by the protesting people.
Well,
Are not
they should feel like victims. Just how EJ is a victim. EJ can't come back. We're more so worried about a mall and somebody not being able to make a couple of dollars rather than a life that has been taken away, literally a life. A family that cannot spend Christmas or any other holiday with their loved one. But yet you worried about a mall being open and a few people being misconvenienced.
Y'all were worried about that Thanksgiving night, and you've been worried about it every day since. You've been worried about this mall. Not about the family. You've been worried about this mall.
And this mall, what we've done to this mall, it's not what we've done to the mall, it's what the mall did to EJ as the reason that this mall ain't making no money.
That's right.
That's why the mall ain't making no money.
Made him a
We don't even have to come back to the mall. Yesterday when we were in this mall, we were basically protesting to ourselves because there was not a soul in this mall. There was nobody in this mall last night. We went to every store. We couldn't find out one person in Old Navy. We couldn't find out one person in Macy's. We couldn't find not one person in any of these stores. And the stores that were open, they closed them down as soon as they saw our faces coming around 7:30. This is not a game. It's not a game. We're going to continue. We know where the chief lives. We're going to show up in Alabaster on Independence Drive at the chief's house until we get some justice for this family. It's sad that Hoover don't want to tell anybody anything. Hoover is aiding and abetting the cover-up. You look at their officers don't even wear name tags anymore. They took the name tags off. Don't even have badge numbers on their badges. We can't even identify.
We can't tell you if somebody messes. We can't tell you who it is if we're harassed. Come on, what kind of sense does that make? Does that not speak to the intent of the Hoover Police Department? That they have taken their badges off and they don't show their badge numbers? Come on.
And as we said before, we are still prepared to protest anywhere in the city of Hoover. We were at Sam's Club last night, totally unexpected. We shut Sam's down. We were at the movie theater 2 nights ago, totally unexpected. Shut the movie theater down. We will be at the schools if we have to. And the reason that we say the schools, because schools are not mutually excluded. There were a lot of Hoover High School students at the mall when this happened. For instance, my brother attended Hoover High School, and he was here at the mall when the shooting took place. He's not excluded from having to know the realities of what's going on in this country, all right? My grandmother, right now, is 74 years old. Years ago at 65, she left school at Parker High School to march downtown Birmingham where they had dogs and hose pipes on them in the Children's March. Our students, those students at Hoover High School deserve to know what's going on in America. They deserve to know that this is the same thing that happened in 1965. They deserve to know because what the narrative of that day, because I talked to my brother, I talked to other students at Hoover, what they're telling the students at Hoover, what that those people are teaching them about this situation is that EJ should not have had a gun in the mall to begin with. They're literally making EJ out to be a bad person. That's why you got students over there saying what we're doing is wrong, because they're painting a completely false and just totally unwrong narrative about who EJ was and what happened here at the mall.
Are you, the Hoover Police Department totally acknowledges your right to protest and anywhere. But they know in a statement they said you will not be allowed on school property. So do you plan
it's public property. Just as we're able to.
No, they specifically said you will not be allowed on school property.
They can specifically say whatever they want to, but the specifically saying anything does not negate what the actual Constitution says. Right. There's not a constitutional law that says that we cannot be on school property. If you find one in the Constitution, show me and we will abide by it, because we're all-abiding citizens. But if you cannot point out in the Constitution where it says that we cannot be on the school property, we will be on the school property.
Do you plan to be there today?
We're going to plan to be there whenever. Just be on alert whenever we're going to be there.
And how will we know?
You're going to be alerted.
Let me speak to
and it's
one
not.
last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Today, we are asking people all over the world, to call Aaliyah offices all over the state of Alabama. We want you to be calm. We want you to be patient. We want you to understand that you'll probably be sitting on hold for a little while, but we're going to jam up these phones and we're going to calmly and patiently ask for justice. And we're going to ask, when is Aaliyah going to release the video? We will continue to escalate our activities. We plan to jam up the phone lines with City Hall tomorrow. We plan to jam up the phone lines at every auxiliary of Hoover, the city of Hoover tomorrow, call the city council offices, and jam up those phones all day long, asking them justice for EJ. And Carlos brought up a very interesting point that I have wanted to highlight this entire time. And that is the participation of young people in this movement.
Right.
My generation, my peers are wondering what's going on, just like my parents' told them, don't go downtown.
So did.
It was young people that led that movement.
Earn it.
It's young people that lead this movement, and us old people are behind them 100%.
Any other questions?
I think that'll do it, sir.
Carlos, with everything that happened yesterday with Aaliyah saying that they don't want any more information released, do you think it's time that state legislators start weighing in since this is a state investigation?
Absolutely. This is the time, this is a moment for everybody to get involved. We need to start reaching out to the House Minority Leader, Mr. Anthony McDaniels. We need to reach out to the Speaker of the House. We need to reach out to the Senate Pro Tem. We need to reach out to literally everybody we need to and everybody we can. The governor's office. The governor has been silent on this. Our Senator Doug Jones has been silent on this. Doug Jones was in a picture with April Pipkins, the mother of EJ Bradford, but yet he has not said anything. Right. He came to her job at Home Depot and was in a picture with her. He's on her Facebook page. Yet he has not said one word about this entire situation. It's not right. We have heard from Congresswoman Terry Sewell, but we have not heard from anybody else. It's kind of crazy that everybody got an opinion except when it's an officer-involved shooting.
As well as no public officials from Hoover that attended the funeral. Not Murphy, not the mayor, not no one. We don't understand that. You negotiate a peace agreement, there wasn't really no peace at all.
Would they have been welcome?
Yeah, they've been welcome. They just like us. Whether you welcome or not, you go. We ain't welcome in the Galleria, but we still going because it's the purpose. It's the purpose. If you did the due diligence and the truth didn't come out, what actually happened in the press conference there at the Westin Hotel where we had the family said, we didn't even talk about the threats the family had received because we can't even, anyway, I said I wouldn't say anything when we said that part. This family needs justice. That's the end of it. And the justice of the reality to know, because ain't no justice for real. Because no matter what they release and don't release, it's not going to bring back EJ. But what we want to do with EJ's life, again, the formula at the end of it, ain't no closure. But what we would like to get, again, that American police officers and agencies, particularly white ones, from what we do in Birmingham, would define the narrative on how they change the engagement. So that justice, really from EJ's grave, is that another black brother his age don't join him in the graveyard. That's our end goal. That's what it's all about. That these young men, y'all ain't killing us. You 60, I'm 62, you ain't killing, we ain't flying down like fly. But you're killing these young folk. You're killing them. Okay, so that's our end goal. Just stop killing us. Just stop killing this young man with braided hair. Just stop being intimidated because his skin is dark and his hair is braided and maned. Just stop killing him. That's our goal from the old folks like me. Just, damn it, stop killing him. That's justice. That's the only justice. Because you can't give justice to this family. You can't give that son back. He will never be saw again. He is in the grave, gone. This young black man is living. Give him justice. Let him live. You kill EJ, let him live. Every police agency throughout America, from sea to side to sea, from corner to corner, north, east, west, and south, stop killing young black children. Period.
And in closing, we just want to let you all know this will not stop. We're ramping it up, guys. We're planning and prepared to march on Aaliyah this upcoming Monday.
Right.
Both their Homewood offices and their Montgomery offices. And we got to take wherever they are. Yeah, we are preparing to shut down Aaliyah's offices until they come out and give us information. And also, we want to take the time to thank all of our allies. everybody that's been with us, that has stood with us. We appreciate everybody. This is literally an entire movement that we're watching unfold right before our eyes. And we got to keep it up because justice is due for EJ and everybody that's been with us. We thank you and we appreciate your patience as we look and seek more justice and demand answers as what happened to our fellow brother, Emantic EJ Bradford Jr.